and welcome to a post-playoff episode of On the Capo Stand. I am your host this evening, Ahmed Salim. Alongside me are David Valentin and Misael Rosa. John will be joining us later. Hopefully, gentlemen, how are you all doing this evening?
As good as we can be.
Yeah, as good as we can be. I agreed.
Yeah, I have finally recovered. It sucked. We're gonna talk about it. But football is say with
Absolutely.
a pound of talent and an ounce of luck and cruel and unpredictable.
Yes, sir. So today we reflect on a season of resilience and milestones for Orlando City. Despite the heartbreak of being eliminated in the Eastern Conference Final, it's hard not to be proud of what this team has accomplished. You heard me right. Accomplishments. On this podcast, we are not ones to sugarcoat anything. We will be the first ones to call every single thing out. But we will also be the ones to acknowledge those accomplishments and efforts. So this season, as we all know, we notched our first ever trip to the conference final, which is a testament to Oscar's vision and the efforts of every single one of those players you see behind me. We finished the season with 15 wins and 52 points, earning the fourth seed. We won 13 of the last 18 matches since July, netting an impressive 43 goals. The playoffs brought us unforgettable victories over Atlanta United, where we did not allow a single shot on goal. And this season also coincided with the Orlando Pride's championship win, inspiring dreams of our own parade down Church Street, which I truly believe is in our future. And if you are watching this show, I am sure you do as well. So as we wrap up this season, it's natural to focus on the final moments, the heartbreak of the playoff exit and what could have been, but let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. You know, we say an ounce of talent, a pound of luck. I can't even say it anymore. An ounce of talent or an ounce of talent.
Pound of talent, ounce of luck.
Oh my God, David. I've said it so many times and so
It happens, man.
but it's the moments of defeat that we see where we've come and how we've matured as a team and what this club really stands for. So this season, I think, tested Orlando City in a way that pushed everyone to grow. There were moments of triumph, like overcoming early struggles, of which there were many, to make the playoffs. And there were moments of adversity, like the most recent match against the Red Bulls that ended in disappointment. But it's how we respond to those moments that truly matters. We were just talking about it right before we came on. The next season is what, like 8 weeks away, preseason training, something to that effect?
Yeah, about 8 weeks.
Yeah, so it's easy to fall into a trap when we're in a situation like this of blaming after a loss, looking for someone to point a finger at. But the real measure of a team is its ability to rise above that. So this year, Orlando showed us that we're capable of doing just that. We saw the players take ownership, lift each other up, and come back stronger with every challenge. So from Pedro with his numerous saves, Summer Faku's relentless drive on the field, we witnessed individual growth and collective resilience. So as fans, it's okay to feel frustrated, which I don't know a single one of us that doesn't when things don't go our way. But let's not forget the character that we've seen from this team. They may not have brought home the trophy this year, but they brought the heart, unity, and the renewed sense of purpose. And that's something that'll only make us stronger going forward. So as we look ahead to 2025, let's remember what the season taught us. It's not just about victories, but how we face defeat and use it to fuel our future. We're maturing as a team, learning the lessons that only come from experience. And that's how you build a team capable of winning it all. I truly believe that Orlando City has what it takes. Now it's about taking those next steps, focusing on growth, staying united, being consistent, and keeping our eyes on the prize. How we get there, we may have differing opinions on. But here's to the journey ahead. Let's keep supporting this team, not just for the wins, but the heart they put into every single game. So with that, I'm going to shut up and turn it over to my co-hosts for their thoughts about the Eastern Conference Finals at home. I am not even going to go on to the spiel because if you're not following us already, You should. On every social media platform, just find one and you'll find us there. So, gents, what are your thoughts?
Go
Your
ahead,
feeling?
Mr.
Well, first, I'm going to say, Ahmed, I like that speech. That was very presidential there.
Listen, I
I
had to
like
say
that.
something because otherwise I was gonna go off on a tangent. So I had to organize my thoughts somehow, man.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
It
just,
was tough.
I'm just poking fun, but yeah, that was good. Yeah, as everyone knows, we were eliminated. Very tough. We're all sad, mad. However you're feeling. Um, I was upset, of course, like everyone else, most likely. It's more of we had a very easy road after certain things kind of panned out our way. Miami got eliminated, Columbus got eliminated, Cincinnati got eliminated. Not saying we wouldn't have beaten those teams, but obviously those are three of the top teams among us in the league. They were eliminated. So then the East went through us. When's the next time that's going to happen? Who knows? But that was, put on a platter for us. Um, so that thing to me, that's what made it more difficult. That it was just like, man, all those teams got eliminated above us, the seeds above us. We're home. It's like it's being like handed to us. Um, but in my opinion, I wasn't fully sold on us yet because against Charlotte, the handball is the reason why we got that penalty, why we kept going. There goes that ounce of luck. Um, Against Atlanta, the Enrique goal was a mistake by Atlanta on the set piece, which it landed on Enrique's foot. Goal. That's it. We move on. Not saying that we don't deserve it. Just saying, those are the little ounces of luck that we always say that I just wasn't fully sold. Of course, I still went in positive minded, thinking we were going to take it against the Red Bulls. And yeah, it didn't go our way, as we know. And yeah, I mean, if you have any words, David, go ahead.
Yeah, basically, and of course, now that I want to talk, Ivy wants to go off. But the reality, and Misael and I said it, is that if we made it to the conference final, we said, "Hey, it's a successful season." That's what we said,
Yes, yes.
And I have to be honest that while we criticize the club and criticize the performances, we do so out of the belief that we are underperforming, that we have the talent, we have the ability, and the facts are the facts. It wasn't in the cards for us. Basically, it was the same game that we had against Atlanta. The difference is we were on the losing end of the affair. I have to say this. I first a shout out to our friend Jared and Mark, who I ran into at the game. I ran into listener of the show, and my apologies to him because can't remember his name, but he said something that touched me deeply, and I have to apologize to our fan base or audience, whoever feels that this is directed to. He said, "David, you are a man of faith, and I am too. And we have our community, our religious communities where we go and we feel accepted and we feel welcome. And so when you say to people who do not go to a church, synagogue, temple, mosque, that they are happy clappers and they are cornhole champions and all that, you are ridiculing people that to them Orlando City is the place where they feel loved, they feel accepted, where they have their truest friends, And for them, the game is not transactional, right? For people like myself, I get there with enough time to walk from my car to my seat. I want wins. We get results. We walk out, and on Monday we are pointing fingers. This guy needs to go. This guy needs to get fired. And I never placed myself in those people's position. For when I was leaving the game, there was a lot of people saying goodbye to each other. A lot of people who have been on the same seats for years, and the people around them, the season ticket holders around them, have become family. These are the people that they tailgate with, and uh, I saw a lot of love for one another. People that, if it wasn't for Orlando City, they will have nothing in common, or they would have never met. And for that I have to apologize, because I have ridiculed people in the past, because we are saying, hey, we need to fire Oscar. But the one thing and this listener was like, hey, it's like, if somebody went to my church and said, you got to fire your pastor, right? People are gonna be defensive. So in that respect, I think that I have failed to understand the level of passion and love that people have for the club, for the badge, for the institution of Orlando City. And for that, I have to apologize, because again, I'm a purist at heart when it comes to football. But I forget that for some people, Orlando City is much more than just 11 men kicking a ball. So, um, and I finish with this. I think for the boys to get 20,000 plus Floridians to brave the weather. And I know if you're not from Florida, you're outside of Florida right now. 50 degrees Fahrenheit sounds ridiculous, but for us, it's very, very cold. It's a very cold night. And for people to brave and to believe and to dream that their team could do it, to me, it's an achievement and an accomplishment. My hat uh, comes off in front of Oscar Pareja. um, he told us at the beginning. He told me at the beginning of the year, we want to lead people, a fan base that can believe that we can do it, and we're gonna give them reasons why. I'm paraphrasing what he told me, and unfortunately, it wasn't like that at the beginning of the season. I was very hopeful. Um, Three things happened that made me lose my hope on Oscar. So I guess I owe Oscar another apology. Was the fact that we needed the 50 points to make playoffs, which at the time we were way below that mark, and our club managed to be the team with the most points in the second half of the season. So feel very proud about that. Also, statistically, if you're not on a playoff contention by June 1st, you are not gonna make it. Guess what? We weren't, and we still make playoffs. And lastly, this is MLS. The champion of your Eastern Conference is the team that came in seventh. And in order to get there, they had to beat the reigning champions at home. On top of that, and then they had to beat the rivals and former 2021 champions. And then they had to come to Orlando, to a very hostile environment, and they managed to get it. Their goal, call it luck, call it the cruelty of football. But we had our chances, and we did not put in. We didn't ripple the net. So to conclude, I think there's lessons. Defeat is a teacher with high tuition. It hurts. If we look at our opponent, a founding club that has never won the MLS Cup, a team that has not been in a conference final in 16 years. So, they know what we feel right now, because they've been there. So I wish them the best. I wish Red Bulls the best. They were a fantastic foe. They have always been. Their fan base has always been gracious to us when we visit them and when they come here to Orlando. So, to me, once after final whistle, they earn it, and I have no animosity and no reason to be upset at them or anything. They won fair and square. And if you're gonna, if you're gonna enjoy winning, you also have to, you have to learn to lose, because football is, among other things, is a eternity of suffering interrupted by brief moments of happiness. So with that said, my friends, at this point we're ready for 2025. I hope you are. Um, I'm happy that we are where we are, in the sense that there's growth, and throughout the show we're gonna talk about what needs to change, what needs to stay the same, and with that, I think that sums up our season.
All right. I think we have a couple of comments. Let me bring them up here. Misael, if you could do the honors. I think Misael is frozen. So I will go ahead and do it. Jim D. Hi, Jim. He says, it was a good run, fellas. I honestly did not think we were making the playoffs, and we made it to the Eastern Finals. Not too bad. See you next season. I don't think anybody could argue that, Jim. And then John Ames says, what positions do you think we need reinforcement for next season? That's a great question.
Go ahead, because you know what I'm gonna say.
Here's the thing. What I'm curious about, and I don't want, this is going to open up a whole ball of wax. We started this season very much with the same team we had last season, for the most part. And what concerned me was it was like we were starting all over. We only have 8 weeks till preseason. My fear is that will once again rear its ugly head, where we start all over again with the same team. As far as positions needing reinforcement, I mean, I think in our defense, we need to start looking at some defenders, because as good as our defenders are, Robin Janssen, he's amazing. I can't take anything away from that gentleman. But time is time. Lady time is not favorable to anybody. And I don't want to be behind the 8 ball when it comes to something like that. I don't want to wait until we need a defender, right, on the defense. But on offense in the midfield, I think we need to look at our options, what we have, maybe play around with things, and maybe look at other options out there. Because the thing is, and we've talked about this day in, day out. If you look at the Pride, they brought in Barbara Banda. Day one, she started producing, right? You can make all the arguments in the world either way, but there's not a reason we can't get players that produce day one. And I'm not complaining about the players that we have, because they could go somewhere else and produce day one. So this is a game like chess. It's not just about the pieces you have, it's about the way you use them. So I really hope we as an organization figure that out, so that day one, we're not starting to figure it out. But I think we could definitely use some help in that midfield and in the attacking line too. I can't pinpoint exactly where, though. I don't know.
No,
What
I
are
hear
your
you, my
thoughts,
brother.
David?
Not to be cruel, I think I want to thank, listen, every man that has worn purple for us has put their brick on the wall of the foundation of this club. Let that be in USL or in MLS. Let that be with OCB or with the first team. Thank you. But the reality is that we fumbled the bag with Luis Muriel, $4 million. He was brought in to be the striker, and he has failed to deliver. DP, to quote our good friend Cleon from Orlando Lions then podcast, DP has to be 3 things: has to be a game changer, has to be a goal scorer, and has to be a starter. Can we say that about Luis Muriel? Absolutely not. Luis Muriel had 5 goals this year, 2 from the spot. two on that beautiful game in Philadelphia, which is, again, the cruelty of football. Which he would have scored that golazo here at home. But the reality is that either we buy him down or we buy him out of his contract. But he's not a DP. He's
Yeah.
not a DP, and we needed a striker. And when it comes to the striker position, unfortunately, we had a situation where, you know, Jacqueline, like I said, it's a guy that struggles to get MLS minutes, struggles, and he's a guy that 2 seasons ago was the MVP of MLS Next and the Golden Boot. And on that, I have to say that our boys going to MLS Next, that's not a quality league. The Riveras, Williams, who else? Freeman's, the I have I have my
Loyola. Yeah,
thank you. The Loyolas, those guys have proven, especially Rivera and Loyola, who are international players. Those dudes have proven that they can do it at the next level. I'm glad that
Yeah.
Misael is back, and I'll give you the microphone real quick, brother. Let's find them opportunities overseas. Petrasso went to third division in Italy, came back a changed man. Beautiful, beautiful football from this young man. Let's do the same. Let's do it at USL. But I think we are shooting ourselves in the foot when we send this great talent. To me, Williams is a CV for the future. We're talking about the fact that Robin is in the wrong side of 30. We have one of our own, Titusville native, with an incredible story, a great family, and that has proven that he can do it, that he can be a professional football player. But in my opinion, his growth is being stunted in a league where basically it's a step above academy. We have to put these guys in situations of win or lose, relegation. We have to test them so they can come back to us as talented, the talented individuals that we know that we can have. I will clean house with the underperformers. Felipe, it's another player. Felipe, in my opinion, Felipe, Muriel, Lodeiro, and Lynn are guys that don't have a room that we don't have room for in 2025. Nice people, love them, great guys. But the reality is that when the chips were down and we needed somebody to come from the bench, there was no magic. Our subs completely did not change the game. They did nothing. We would have done better with 5 guys from the stands. And that's harsh, but the reality is that it's a final. You are down a goal. You're at home. We just didn't have that magic off the bench. Go ahead, Michelle. Michelle's
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, let me just say one thing. Before Michelle, are you there? Oh yeah, he's there. Okay.
Can you hear me?
The one thing that popped into my mind, David, when you said that, when Jacqueline came on Saturday, the first thought in my mind was like, this is not the time to be putting in Jacqueline. You know what I mean? It was like, it was not the move. And then him and then Kyle, right? It was just like, wait, what are we doing right now? There's no tomorrow.
Yeah, but that's exactly why I think he did it, was desperation.
Yeah, it was just, it didn't feel right. And I mean, when people hear this is all opinion, right? Everybody's got their own opinion, like I said before. But the thing is, this is what we need to do during the off season, is figure those pieces out. And once we start the season, I feel like we can't wait until halfway through the season to start making major lineup changes. Use the beginning of that season to make those changes, to figure out how those pieces work together, because that's what happened to us this last season. I feel like they knew when the cutoff was, and then that's when they made their changes and they started starting Ojeda, you know? So I feel like we can't wait that long to do that. We need to figure that out way earlier in the season. What are your thoughts, Misael? John had said, what positions do you think we need reinforcement for next season? So that's where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys touched on it. The bit that I caught there, I think you guys touched on it. The same thing as David said. I was gonna say the same thing with the Muriel, the Lodeiro, and the Brecalo. Even though Brecalo was injured, so I'm not saying to get rid of him, but the Muriel and Lodeiro, when they come in the game, they're not making that much of a difference. I mean, Muriel had like 2 great games. The rest was just, like, okay. I mean, for $4 million, $4 million a season, I believe, is what it is. And only playing for 20 minutes. Obviously, that's not his choice. That's Poppy's choice. But he can't go a full 90. I don't even know if that guy can give us 70. So for $4 million, I mean, he's not really a game changer. Lodeiro's not really a game changer, not anymore. Unless we had like Seattle Lodeiro. So to me, yeah, and to me, like if our window is open now, since we made it this far this year, if our window's open now, I agree with David. Get rid of those guys like Felipe and stuff like that. And just like he said, that's no disrespect, but we're trying to build a championship team, and if our window's open now, we need to fill those spots in with guys that are going to really contribute when we have our international players gone, when we have injuries, stuff like that, red cards, whatever, yellow card accumulations. We need to have guys that we can plug in, and so we can go from there. It's crazy how before, when we didn't make it this far, I felt like we were deeper. Like, when Mendes will come in and stuff like that. Like I feel like we don't have, now Caesar or Wilder.
It was like 2 starting lineups.
Yeah, now that we didn't make it as far, now we make it further and we're not as deep. It's kind of, I know how, how that works. It's crazy, but now Wilder and Caesar leave, and you got to plug in Felipe. Like I said, it's no disrespect, but it ain't no Sebas Mendez, it ain't no Higuita, like stuff like, it's not like that. So I think we need to get back to something like that where we're deep, and so we can make that championship run.
Agreed. All right. I think we have John. We have more comments to go, but John's with us also. So I'll bring up some of the comments, and John, just let us know when you're ready to jump on with us.
I'm ready, guys. I'm just going without a camera tonight.
No, that's good. That's all right. How you feeling, man? I know you're not feeling too well.
Yeah, I've definitely felt better, but the Dayquil I took about an hour ago is doing its job.
Cool. So Vadim Azimov says, this group of players proves to me that they can win playoffs. F Atlanta, but my feeling is that if we want to go all the way, we need significant personnel changes. Hope they will prove me wrong. You and all of us as well, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
Serge Nash says, good evening, late again. That's why we need the U.S. Open Cup to try youngsters who's not ready for the MLS level and give them a chance to step up. Lynn is not MLS level. Victor Rosa says, you cannot simulate a real game. Sometimes changes need to be done during the season. And it's to Oscar's credit that he did start with Ojeda at the beginning. It was a stacked start to the season. Very true. It was. We had Leagues Cup and CCL and all that. So, and Victor Rosa, nice meeting John the other night. Oh, I guess he met John at the wall.
Yeah, he ran into me. I was getting a drink for me and Brienne, and comes up and goes, "Are you John?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, I'm Misael's brother," and then we chatted a little bit, and then Misael came up to me and talked a little bit as well while we were getting the drinks made. And
cool, nice. So, John, you want to share your thoughts with us, my friend? We've all kind of shared our thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I could go into the negatives of it and everything, and it's just to me, it's just, I'm sure I didn't catch the beginning of the show, but it's just disappointing. We see the improvement the team made throughout the year. We started the year really bad, almost as bad as you can start, and reverted back to those tendencies in this game. I mean, I never saw the stat, but when they do the attacking channel stat, I'd be willing to guess that we were 80 to 90% on the left. And that's what, that's where we kept getting caught out throughout the night. And it was the same way early in the season where we were just trying to force that ball down the left, which is exactly what New York wants. New York wants to force you to the wing, force throw-ins, and they play a 3 center back system, whether you want to call it 5 back or 3-5-2 or whatever they may call it. They had 3 center backs in there, and they know that unfortunately, as good as Enrique is, he's not going to win many balls when guys have 6 to 8 inches on him, because I think he's only like 5'6", and just look at Reyes. Reyes, I believe, is 6'2", 6'3". And that's what we've been saying we've needed all year. That's what we said we needed off season. And I really feel like Saturday it showed that what Mauricio brought to this team was somebody in the middle that could break that back line and hit those passes through the 3 center backs. And when Muriel came on, he did, it looked a little bit better, but it was too little too late. And I mean, they just, it was really disappointing. It's what all of us said, in previous shows, our worst fear would be is they come out, they don't attack from the get-go. And I knew 5 minutes in, it was going to be a uphill battle for us even to get it to extra time because of how they looked the first 5 minutes. And, just really disappointing. Really, it's just, shows that we need to add more, kind of like you guys were saying. We need to add, get rid of one of our DPs, maybe one of our young DPs, somebody, so that we can go ahead and get that game-changing piece in the middle that can control the game, keep possession on our attacking end, and all for what Ojeda did. He was a great change in the middle of the season when he started to get more consistent minutes and really change the season around. But in the games where teams are going to sit back and force you to beat them, you really need that I'll say it, somebody, because my dad constantly brings it up, somebody like a Lucho Acosta that can, keep that ball and really distribute that ball from that central position, which we didn't have at all this year. Mauricio, as much as we ragged on him for not scoring goals, that's what he did. That's why we were so good last year, is he was that cog in the middle that would keep the ball on the attacking end and break that back line down to, get us good looks at goal. I really feel, I hate saying it, I really feel like the Facundo Torres experiment's over. We need to deal him this offseason, get rid of him as a DP for all that he's done for us. He's never shown up in big games. People say, oh, he had a goal in the U.S. Open Cup. Yeah, it's marked as a goal. It was a penalty kick. Doesn't count for me. Yes.
Not only that, that's a lesser, that's a lower tier league. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that we played.
Not even against an MLS side. Like,
yeah. And yes, he did have that goal against Miami and extra time in that U.S. Open Cup run, but the really big games for the last 2 years, he hasn't shown up. He's, and he shows that he's unwilling to take that next step and really be that force, be that game changer that we need in the team.
Like you said, to me, it was wild, especially this last game. I mean, I know we're number 1 in the league in crossing the ball in and, going out wide and then bringing it back in. But the other day was wild to me. We were in that box in the middle so many times, and they would just kick it out wide to bring it back in. And I'm just like, I don't understand. Like, just shoot. Somebody has to shoot.
Indecisiveness is what got us in this game. And I want to say, listen, the people that write history, the people who we have holidays after, the people who we name our children after, those people were not afraid of failing. In history, the people whose name we remember are those that are willing to take the step and to go the distance and not be afraid of failure. I think we were too cautious, and we took too many. Our two opportunities, the one with Facundo and the one with Enrique, criminal, 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 criminal. In
Do you
fact,
think that
yeah, go
you
ahead.
said that? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Do you think,
No, go
since
ahead,
you
brother.
brought that up, do you think the Facundo shot, if Ojeda took one more touch, maybe pull Coronel over more towards him, it would have been a little more. I mean, I know Facu should have hit that shot. I'm not making up excuses for Facu,
Right.
but I think maybe Ojeda one more touch before the pass, it would have pulled the goalkeeper a
If
little
Facu
more.
would have passed to Enrique, it would have been 1-0.
That too. That too. But now you're talking
But
about a
again,
player that should have been in Arsenal.
absolutely. I'm a fat guy on the south side that gets winded going to check the mail on his driveway. I am not the person to go look at a 23-year-old athlete, professional footballer, and say, oh, you could have done better. I mean, it's very easy for me to say that, to have 25,000 pairs of eyes and
Mhm.
and mouths going up at once, and all that pressure on your shoulders has to be like going to the Titanic swimming with scuba gear.
Well, the
Uh,
thing about the Facundo shot, before we move on, David, sorry, is you're taught from a very young age, and I know that it wasn't really across to him, but the keeper still had to move across the mouth of the goal to get into position. Um, as a young attacking player, you are taught when that ball comes across the mouth of the goal, you put it right back where it came from, so to speak. So, in my opinion, and everything I've been taught, Facundo trying to go near post, you have all that keeper's momentum going towards that way, and you just pass that into the far. Yes, they did have somebody diving, so you may behind the keeper far post, so you may not have been able to actually pass it into that far post, but you just put that mid height far post, and that's a goal. If you're going to go near post, you have to tuck that on the near post, not hit that 3 feet towards the center of the near post. And that's what he did. It was a relatively easy save. It was more, the keeper jumped, and it was almost like he had to add hang time to himself in order to make the stop, because he read Facundo so well. And rewatching it on TV, I mean, Facundo, it was like reading a toddler book. Uh, with how bad he telegraphed where he was going to put that.
Yeah.
Agree. Surge, agree.
We have some more comments. Hold on. Let's see. I might have hit the wrong one first. Ray says, I think a coach that can get more out of the scorers. It seems that the scorers die a slow death under this coaching staff. Then Serge Nash goes on to say, Poppy made a mistake starting Enrique. Too small and light for D size of the Red Bulls. Duncan and Muriel could create more and force one of the defensive men into a red card. Enrique in the second.
Well,
Not,
technically,
you know what?
one of
We've
those
had a
guys should have
situation
had
like
a
that
red
also with
card.
Nashville, right? Didn't we have the similar situation with Nashville?
Yeah,
Because they had a big defensive.
I've been wanting Duncan to start these whole playoffs, but I think, well, like he said there, I mean, Reyes should have had a red card.
Yeah. Back calls, that's another story.
A
Serge
freaking
Nash,
yellow, you know what I'm saying?
yeah. Serge says Facu can't deliver under pressure. Ray says David nailed it. This coaching makes players timid, very cautious. Victor says maybe the expectations are too high for Facu. I personally think we need someone or two further along than him. Serge says we need to be more in FU outscore style. Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think he always has them. He's a defensive minded coach, so he always has
Yes.
them having that. He always has them having that one foot ready to go back to track
Yep.
back.
Yeah.
So I think and from what I heard, I never heard of Facundo before he got here. From what I heard, he's just not that type of player.
Yeah.
So I think him changing if that's true, him changing his style and always having to worry like, okay, if I shoot this, but I got to hurry up and track back. and he's not used to doing that. I don't know. I mean, I guess
Yeah, I mean, David
Yeah,
can
go ahead.
speak more on it than me because he knows more about it than me. But when Facundo came here, I had heard about him just from following soccer. He wasn't quite a wonder kid, but like a wonder kid B, if you will, like just under that, that wonder kid status. And he was advertised coming out of South America as a game changer. And in my opinion, yeah, he set the single season goals record and the all time goals record this year, but he didn't really create any of those goals by himself. He's never had a moment of brilliance. Like what Nani did. What Nani was here.
Aaron, for that matter, guys.
Yeah, well, but Kyle was. You got to think though. Kyle played he was a true number 9. Those guys you expect to be the goal scorer, and when the ball is given to them in the box, they're to score. When you have a winger, that is, you expect your winger to be a game changer, to be somebody that's willing to take defenders on 1v1, somebody that's going to be a little bit selfish and attacking minded, and Facundo's never really shown that. He gets one person between him and the goal. His first thing is to stop and look backwards for a pass. And I'm sorry, in modern MLS, you can't have that. You have to have somebody that's going to be attacking minded. That's going to, as Serge said, F it, I'm scoring. We're scoring a goal right now, and they're taking matters into their own hands. Whether it's taking on 2 or 3 guys, getting it past them, and distributing it to the open guy, or shooting it on net yourself and scoring.
John, I'm sorry to interrupt. Basically, you're talking about a Kaká, a Kyle Aaron, a Nani, or the soccer warrior, Kevin Molino. Don't forget about that. I personally think that we lack that persona in the club right now that people will follow. We don't have the guy. We don't have
we need a
the
star.
franchise player, right?
Yep.
And while I think Facundo Torres is a good player, a nice guy, he's a very young, very reserved person. And while we have a team that mimics the manager, because Oscar is a mild-mannered person, very low-key, they are not like David Valentin. David Valentin is a person that speaks loud. Oh, my oldest son already told me, hey, take it down because mom's trying to sleep. I'm very passionate. I wear my feelings in my sleeve. I get easily hurt because I just care about things so much. That's probably why I fell in love with Orlando City. We had Adrian Heath and Phil Rollins, and we had players like Kaká, who will insult you with pretty words. But the guy was a winner. The guy wanted to win. The guy was a warrior, and same with Nani. I think, to be quite honest with you guys, a persona like Nani that grabbed this fan base and dragged it along with him, people will literally run to hell and back holding full gas cans for this man. And I have to tell you that those personalities leave indentations in people. I told the story many times, and I will say it again for the people that have never heard it. 9 years ago, I went to the retirement ceremony from a Navy friend, and the keynote speaker was our old senior chief, who had retired as master chief at that point. And I remember him coming over to myself and another friend who's now a paramedic in North Carolina, and he said, "I don't remember your names, but I remember you served with me. Please tell me that you have done something with your life." So we're like, "Oh, we used the GI Bill, we went to school, we did this," and he said, "Out fucking standing." Excuse my language. That's what I want. I wouldn't expect anything less from my man. And if you tell me right that minute, hey, would you mind signing up for another 10 years? I would have done it. I never felt so proud. Listen, my dad loves me. He has said beautiful things about me. My grandfather, may his memory be a blessing. they encourage me to do things. But for that man who I went to war with to tell me that, inspire me. And I have to tell you, I came back to Orlando. I quit my job. I went to find something better. And right now I make twice what I was making at the time because I was just encouraged by that. And Nani did that for us. And unfortunately, I just don't think that we have it. We don't have that guy. Hate him or love him, Jose Martinez did that for Atlanta. And as much as I hated it because we were the target of his jokes and his humiliation, he had those people believing that we were the second coming of we were the Fourth Reich. We needed to be stopped. Jose Martinez laughed about us, humiliated us, did every. That's what we need. We need a guy like that. We need a Rambo, a Rocky, whatever a Terminator. I'll be back. That's what we need. We need somebody. Again, let's thank these folks that I mentioned already and show them the door. Let's go get a number 9. One of the things, and I'm going to be petty, and I'm going to be a fanboy, and I'm going to be no, I'm not going to be objective. Israeli players in this league have burned us over and over. They have them in North Carolina, they have them in Atlanta, they all over the place. Why can we go and get players that are cheap that can play? I already said it. There was a player, Mohammed Abu Fani, from Israel, Muslim Arab, by the way, and national team player for Israel. That we could have gone him. This guy would have been running circles, scoring goals. But no, we want to go cheap. Maybe in Orlando City we need to remind them that the world map is more than Argentina and Uruguay. I'm sorry, some of the guys that we have brought from there are great, but Ramiro Enrique, and I'm saying it, 5'2" David, is a great player, but we need height in that position. We have gone shorter over the years. I don't know if you guys remember Seb Hines and Aurelien Collin. When we had a corner, that stadium would stand up because we knew the goal was coming, a header was coming. Can we have that now? No, because we have a bunch of shorties. And so those are the type of things. Let's go and find ourselves players that embody that because listen, this fan base, they're suckers for that sweat equity, for that hype. Get me some hype merchants. That's what I want. And I'm sorry that I took over the microphone, but it just otherwise, next year we're gonna finish with the same type of show, talking about the what ifs. Go ahead, guys.
Let's just hope that making it to the conference final. The conference finals, and with the pride, hopefully the owners will see that and want to add something.
And the thing is, too, guys, is we had somebody with height, but we didn't use him. We tried to play small ball while he was here.
Yeah.
We had Kara. Kara was what, 6'2", 6'3", maybe 6'4". That's what he did when he was playing. Where was he? Austria before he joined here, I believe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he was doing. That's what you saw his highlights were from. That's where he, scored most of his goals here. But then, he comes here and we try to play small ball with him and get him in behind, and that's not his game.
Yeah.
Then we have somebody, like Enrique, where his game is to get behind, and then we start this year to try to send in long balls from the corner and get away from the short passes. And, we have somebody on the bench that is known as a good attacking threat, and Brekalo on the corner as a corner taker. The club worked hard to get him. And yes, he had his injuries and this and that and the other, but I'm sorry. He doesn't let the man run free to that back post like Schlegel did. I don't know if you guys covered that yet or not, but in my opinion, that was 100% Schlegel's man. Yeah, and Schlegel just kind of, walked back, ball watching, watched the ball go right back to his back side when in my opinion, he was supposed to be the one looking at it because he's the one looking around. Like, whose man was that? Well, if you're the one looking around, it was probably your man.
But that guy wasn't supposed to be there. He was supposed to have a second yellow.
And, but again,
yeah, that's a whole other story,
about,
man. That's a whole other story.
My point is, it's cool. We can sign we can sign this guy and that guy and all this, but fact of the matter, if you're not one of Poppy's boys, you're not playing, and that's been shown this year because we have guys that have been signed and they're not, they're not playing.
Yep.
Listen, we're gonna go to the draft, hoping to strike gold again. And I gotta say it, we've been very lucky in the draft, very lucky that we have. I mean, this club it's the magnet for strikers. We have some great players come here from the draft, but for every Chris Mueller and Daryl DK and Kyle Aaron and Duncan McGuire, there's a lot of guys that haven't panned out. Our draftees last year, they have gone as quiet as a fart in an elevator. And the reality is that that we have to be big time players. We're gonna talk about it. Our ownership, for those that don't know, has purchased all the land around the stadium with plans to develop that land on a mixed use of residential and commercial. Right now, they are in negotiations to buy the Osceola County Stadium, the whole compound there, the Silver Spurs Arena, the where we have our boys training with. I'm assuming with the hopes of bringing pride under that umbrella, because right now their training facility is in Sanford, and that costs money. That costs a lot of money, and I'm glad, I'm happy, and all that we have ambition because we have money, something that we didn't have in the first 5 years that we were in this league. But at the same time, my good fellas, let's go and be ambitious and go and try to get players that are proven and seasoned. Not this bargain bin dime and nickel store players that we have tried to do before. Kara was cheap. Van der Vader was cheap. I'm sorry to say that. That Norwegian kid, who knows? I'm about to put his face on a milk carton and release the dogs. We don't know where he's at. We don't know what Not even they didn't even put him with OCB. We don't know what this cat can do.
I forgot about him.
The reality. Listen, and I finish with this. Do not, Orlando City, spit on our cupcake and call it frosting. It's next year, 2025 is 11 seasons and 10 years in MLS. And we have sat here and seen teams like Atlanta, LAFC, and New York City already lift the cup. Listen, this fan base is thirsty and hungry for success. Yes, we won Open Cup. Cool. But these people want the one star above the badge, and we are not gonna do it if we continuously bring people past their prime from the league and outside the league. And we hope that somewhere in an empty lot in Middle America, we have the second coming of Jason Christ, the player. We can't do that. We really can't do that, because come next year we have a San Diego with ambition, and come next year we're gonna have Inter Miami bringing more Barca boys. I don't know how, but I guess they got magical powers because they managed to get those guys on their MLS roster rules. But listen, next year's gonna be tough. Next year's gonna be tough. And
you guys keep talking about bringing, not to cut you off, David, bringing somebody in, but I don't know if you guys saw what FC Cincinnati did last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. They spent $15 million on a 23-year-old striker from that plays in the Belgian league, the Belgian Pro League. because they said, look, we had a weakness this year. This weakness was we didn't have a true number 9. Let's get a number 9 that's going to make a difference. And our ownership and our front office and our technical staff doesn't seem to have that ambition. Everybody and their brother last year and going into the offseason this time of year said we need to get a game-changing number 10. We knew Mauricio was out, and we didn't bring any number 10 in. I'm sorry, Lodero's not a number 10 anymore. He doesn't have the quickness. He doesn't have the precision to be a number 10. He's a quality backup, true number 8 box-to-box midfielder backup, but we don't play with a number 8. We play with 2 6s and a 10. We bring in Muriel, who's been a false 9 and a 9 or a striker his entire life, and we try him in there as the number 10. We saw how that worked earlier in the season. We were pathetic. So until this front office and this the staff and they all have a so-called come to Jesus moment and open their eyes and realize what we need to be competitive. Because to me, our issues have always been right there in the forefront. I mean, everybody was saying play Ojeda. Almost everybody was saying play Ojeda more, play Ojeda more. We look so much different with him on the field when he comes in. Play Ojeda more. Took him 2-3 months to do this. We need somebody. We have a Dave. We have a number 9. So I'm going to disagree with you on that, David. We have Duncan McGuire, who's more than serviceable. He's probably there's 30 teams in the league now, 32 teams in the league, something like that. I'd put him at top 10, top 15 strikers in the game when he plays consistently, when he's consistently starting games. We need a number 10. We need somebody in the middle that can control possession, that can distribute the ball, that can be that relief for when the ball does get stuck in the corner, because it's going to happen. And we haven't had that. We didn't have that this year. And that's what killed us early in the year. And that's what led to our demise in the playoffs. Is this year we could not break teams down that just wanted to sit back and play defense against us. And we would get impatient and then get caught on the counter. And it is what it is. And until they can open their eyes, we can. It's going to be more of the same because we don't have that ball hawking, attacking midfielder that is going to distribute the way that the MLS needs a number 10 to distribute. Look at Puig, look at Acosta, look at I'm drawing blanks now, but you can go to every team that made it, that either finished high on the regular season table or made it far in the playoffs, and say
Forsberg.
this is who they had. I mean, look at Columbus. Columbus has an what's his face? Cucho plays a false 9 / number 10. He isn't a true number 9. That's what we need. We need somebody that's going to come in from day one, not wait 3-4 months and gel with the team and do all
They
this.
got to gel.
Day one and make a difference with this team and make us an attacking force. Because the only reason we scored the most goals in club history this season is because we had to, not because we were that good.
I think Ahmed wanted to jump in there.
Yeah, we have a bunch of comments to catch up on. Why don't we catch up a little bit here? Let me see, where are we at? All right, here we go. So John Ames says, as much as I like Janssen, he's getting older. Maybe finding a solid CB would be best. I agree. I think finding one now before we need to would be the time to do it. Victor says Facu will never live up to those expectations, and that's fine. Invest in better players to play with him, a la Columbus. Colin OCSC says we need our Barbara Banda. 100%. 100%, man. The second game, I saw her. The second game, they had the Pups of Pride game. I went there, and the minute she got the ball, everybody was on her because you knew what was going to happen. Then we have Serge Nash says, true, the face and leader. I think he was talking about the Barbara Banda.
And
And
I'm gonna
then,
tell you one thing because we have said it, and I watched that championship game. You know when Barbara Banda does that turn with that ball, forget about it. It's a done
Nasty.
deal. I think that if you look at Pride as an example, horrible team building in 2016, where basically they just, they just signed. The team was at 90% international players. What happens on the international windows? What happens when the guys have to go or the gals have to go? That you have no team. You traded all your draft picks every year. I mean, it was horrendous. Seb Hines was literally handed. I mean, we talk about Oscar Pareja being handed a pile of trash. You know, what he was handed was horrific. They did proper signings, they identified talent, and they signed it. And then they found a manager that was respected, well liked. We all know what happened before Seb took over. I mean, it was horrendous. The lawyers got involved. There was things that happened that were criminal, illegal. I mean, what to harp on that? And the fact is that at the end, imagine that a manager that had the respect and admiration of his players, they sign a goal scorer, starter, game changer to complement the talent that Martha had. And by the way, we already know Martha's best years, already rearview mirror stuff. But the fact of the matter is, they went and they won a game. That's all they needed to do. We can do that. We can do the same at Orlando City if we're willing to do it. It's going to cost money. When I went to business school, because I have a bachelor's in technology management, that's a business degree. There's the triangle of success. I learned the triangle of success. The base is money. Imagine that. The second one is talent, and the other one is personnel. I mean, I'm sorry, it's management and personnel. So money, management, personnel. Oscar Pareja, I think, he's a great manager, but can we do better? Yeah, absolutely. I don't understand the fear that people have of moving on. If we were to find somebody that is gonna take us over the hump, and then we can go and recruit good players. We don't have to break the bank. I mean, the team that beat us, the team that is the champion of the Eastern Conference, is a team that on paper, and we say it all the time, that football is played on grass, not on paper, is a team that costs less than what I believe they're below us on cost. I don't think Red Bulls has anybody that you could say is a world beater, but they won, and they lifted that trophy in our house, an empty stadium. How poetic to see all that joy and all that red and white confetti flying all over the
Did
place on our pitch.
did they? I didn't see it. I
On
ran
our
out of there.
I did not see anything. I don't know
Yeah, I
what you
didn't
guys
see
are
that.
talking about.
It's
I have
in the
no clue what you're
narrative.
talking about. So, all right. Magic Seti says Nani, Kaka, or Kyle with this current team? Question
Ooh.
mark.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
Victor
Take
Rosa
him off.
says they. Serge Nass says, look at Celtics FC. Japan players are F gold. Yeah. Tour Rep 1 says that's a good point, David. Exhibit A, Benteke, when we were talking about height. Serge Nash says we still need a leader. Victor says same with Brecalo, highlights of headers, but he can't get on. I think he got one in this year for us. Ray says foot to head is a straight red card. Yeah, that's a conversation for another day.
No, listen, I'm gonna be honest. Should have been a red. We have seen
Okay.
our players get red cards for lesser than that. And I remember when Rafa Ramos got the red from Ted Uncle. Remember, he's like looking, and Jamila Sad, I think it was, who sold it like a scumbag. That's why Jamila Sad and I, the day we meet, is gonna be in a cell with the door locked, toe to toe. Don't like the dude. Don't I hate dirty players like that. And and Rafa got red, or what's his name? Dom Dwyer got a red for the same things. But
in the same game, a little bit after that foot to the head, he gave one of their players a yellow for something a lot less, and it
a
was
lot
literally
less.
like a minute or two after.
But you know what? You know how you prevent bad refereeing decisions from affecting your game? You score the goals when you have the opportunity.
Ahmed, I think we had other topics, right?
No, we're still
did we talk
going
about
through
the
the
player
comments.
thing?
What's
Okay,
that?
go ahead.
Yeah. Tour reps here. There's a theme here. Last year got knocked out because of Schlegel. This year got knocked out because of Schlegel. We're gonna lose our draft to the new expansion team. Tour rep goes on to
Correct.
say,
I'm sorry, Ahmed. I didn't mean to cut you off. As of right now, we're expecting this to be the last expansion draft because the league has said 30 teams is way too big of a league, and I agree because most leagues are 24, 25 teams, and there's a rumor of expansion to maybe 32. Right now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. We allowed way too many teams to make the playoffs, and we have way too many teams in the league to the point where, by the way, we haven't played in Vancouver since 2018. Imagine that we have not played them at home since 2018, and some of the teams, we go 2-3 years without playing them, and that to me is not good football. It's not good quality. So with that said, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. Ray says, I have to disagree with David about hype. Bringing Acosta to OC and Maguire and Angulo will score lots of goals.
I don't know about Angulo.
You know what? Listen, man, anything is possible. Ray says, also Duncan is 6'1". And then Tour Rep goes on to say, I know you say hype, but years ago, I said it, and I'll say it again. Acosta is looking for a new home. Serge says, all issues we always had. No person to serve goal scorers. Cara, Facu, Enrique Maguire can't create.
You know what? You know what's the easiest way to make me angry and throw away my $16 beer? Is when we have the ball going across goal and like nobody for the tapping. That's when my cardiologist like text me like, relax, take your medication, because I'm telling you that's the best way for me to. I'm sorry, I keep speaking.
You're good. Serge Nash says the 9 is the answer. Ricardo must have more power and might need to take over Muzi's role. Marta on the field makes Banda looks much better. It's all about feeding the scorers. I think this is a conversation that can go on forever because, like I said earlier on, we all want to get there, and how we get there we'll all have differing opinions on how to get there. That's where the coach comes in, right? Because ultimately the coach, it's like these are his chess pieces. What kind of chess pieces do you want? How do you want to be able to play these chess pieces? What combinations do you want to have them in so that you can make yourself the most threatening, right? You can have tall players, short players, fast players, slow players. It's how you play them and the combinations that you play them in and how they feed off of each other. That's going to really make you that threat.
He needs better.
I don't know, guys. I don't know.
He needs better weapons, though.
What's that? Yes. No, absolutely.
He needs better weapons, though, He's also working with what he has.
Yeah. But he also has I think, and David, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Oscar has a lot to say in the players that he gets, no? To some extent?
To some extent.
Well, I'm sure there's a budget, though.
The decisions are made by Luis and Ricardo, and Oscar has some input, but at the end of the day is our VP of soccer operations who makes that decision. They're human. They can only go by tape. They can only go by by what the agents say, and some of the decisions they have made have been home runs, and other ones have been swing and a miss. That's life. I'm not gonna come and talk trash about two men who have my utmost respect and admiration.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say it because Ricardo Moreira is a magician, and what Luis does with the budget that is allowed, to field a team on the pitch that has made playoffs 5 years in a row, that has gone to two finals. Let's not forget MLS is back. Well, three finals. I'm sorry. Has won one of them, and also the success of selling Daryl Dickey for $10 million. People forget about that. And the kid from OCB, whose last name I forget right now, that we made bank. I think $8 million for a guy that played 10 minutes with us.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think there's four of us can come up with 1,000 solutions and questions and everything. The fact is that our 2024 season has come to an end. 10 years ago, we were closing our USL era, and we were walking into an unknown. And that's how we need to brief this. We went from a bunch of people screaming, bring us MLS, as we fell down to, I believe it was the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, if I'm not mistaken. No, the Harrisburg City Islanders, who knocked us out because they brought in 7 loanees from Philadelphia Union. And we were over there at Disney in a stadium that had 5,000 seats. And Saturday night we had 25 plus at the stadium, our stadium that we built. So again, a successful season nonetheless, in many fronts. Unfortunately, no trophy. Don't listen. Do like me. The second I walked away from X and all that crap, and I don't have to deal with trolls or whatever, I'm actually enjoying football more, because if you're into football because you want to dunk on 13-year-olds that don't use their real name and picture on Twitter, by all means, go ahead. But if you want to enjoy the football, well, it wasn't our year. We didn't win. If you can have it with that perspective. The other one is like, listen, we got to a final where nobody saw us there. And every year, if we get better, get better. One day we're gonna lift that trophy. And when it does, forget about it. I mean, your boy David Valentin may end up in county jail. That's all I gotta say. We have some topics that we can talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can do us a favor.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a couple more comments. So Colin said,
go ahead.
Yeah, off
Go ahead.
topic, but Dagger is expecting a child. Might see him on the bench next season. Would like to see us give Freeman a shot. 2 excellent points. And we were actually just talking about that before the show.
By the way, he liked our comment on Instagram. I said that it's being a dad is the best job, quote unquote, that you'll ever have. So he liked it. So listen, Dagger Dan and I go back in the day. From Island Boy to Island Boy. It's like that. And by the way, that's his partner. She's a flight attendant for the Icelandic airline. You came for 500. Well, last time I checked, $550 round trip from Orlando to Iceland. I have a friend, an Orlando City fan that took that vacation on my bucket list. So yeah, his partner is used to Orlando City fans saying, "Hey, I know you. I seen you. I love you." So that's the thing. We're gonna have a new Icelandic addition to Orlando City. And by the way, we have to investigate the fertility of the city of Orlando, because we find these guys, and all of a sudden it's just like kids. I have to ask myself that question. If it's probably in the water, probably it's in the shores of some mystical lake. But the reality is that Orlando City perhaps needs to ask the players how many kids you have and when you plan them, because you get here, it's all over. Go ahead.
Yeah. Tour Rep says no more experimenting. Come opening day, have your starting 11. Everybody plays to stay on that 11, and who doesn't do well gets relegated to the bench. Everybody else fights to make that starting 11.
I wish.
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in that position, in Oscar's position, or deciding that. It's not easy. We all make it sound easy. It's easy for us to stand here and say, I would do this, I would do that. But when it comes down to it and you have to do it, and it's the decisions that drive everything, and there's a lot that we don't know, I would not want to be in those shoes.
And you know what, guys? We forgot about another thing. The Gaston Gonzalez situation, that was a complete misfire. So I mean, he came in, and listen, I not to brag, but I was one of the guys with the inside with the secret recordings of his father confirming that we have paid $2 million for the guy, all that. Bad luck. The guy blows his knee on his last game. His replacement was already on the sideline waiting to be waved in, and he blows his knee, and then he's never the guy that we wanted. And those situations happen. So I just want to bring it up. His loan expires this month, and I believe it's a done deal. He's not coming back.
Wow. All right. Well, we're all caught up on our comments, so it's been quite the adventure this evening.
Yeah, we have one thing, and then I'm gonna take off for the night because I'm getting tired and the cold's starting to ramp back up. But I know David said something about it right before I went on. Somebody up here in the comments, my apologies, I don't remember who it was, said something about getting a new center back. We already have a center back on our bench in Brecalo. He's, in my opinion, better than the two that currently start. He just hasn't had time, hasn't gotten the minutes. He's faster, easily faster than the two that we have now, which is something that we've lacked in our center back position for a long time. And then we have his backup, which David alluded to earlier, on OCB, and Thomas Williams. I mean, he's there. Thomas has played with at least the U20 national team. I don't believe he got called up for any of the U23s recently, but the dude has the talent to play for our senior team. You watch him in OCB, and he does the little things great. And he's another guy that's tall, and he can. I think if he hadn't played soccer, and I don't know if he ever played any other sports other than soccer, but as high as that dude jumps, he could have played basketball or been a wide receiver in American football. Because that dude can jump out of I'd love to know what his vertical is, because he jumps a mile in the air. Mm-hmm. But you get him, move him up to the bench, because I believe he's already on a senior team contract as of 2 years ago. So he's playing on OCB just to get minutes right now. But I really do think if you moved him up to the bench, gave Brecalo some more playing time, and this is for when Janssen, does eventually call it a day, either as a career or here as an Orlando City player. We have the options there. We don't need to go out and sign really anybody else to the senior team in that position, because we're pretty good at it, as far as the depth position right now, because they're just, they don't play them for whatever reason on the senior team.
Yep.
Didn't Thomas play a couple games for us? I thought he did pretty well.
He did a couple of years ago. He came on, and he did. He played. He played a couple of the U.S. Open matches in 22 when we won. He started the one against the Rowdies. He started the first two for us, and then also got some minutes that year with Antonio Carlos being out injured like he was that summer. So he did get some minutes coming off the bench and everything, and you didn't really notice a difference when he came on at all. And that was 2 years ago. So, in my book, that means he's got 2 more years of experience, two more years of learning under his belt that means that he should have no trouble stepping on the pitch tomorrow and taking Jensen's place.
Yeah.
Well, Papi's gonna hear this and he's gonna do that.
We have another comment from Serge. Serge says 1 year of hard work followed by OC Daddy syndrome for the next 1 to 2 years. That's great, but reality and production is a 0. And that he is referring to Dagger Dan's circumstances, which when we talked about this pre-show, I said it was a similar situation with
Facundo.
with
Listen, if you
Facundo
suffer from infertility,
and Schlegel even.
yeah, if you suffer from infertility, this is what we're gonna do, okay? And the front office, we can sign people to Orlando City, put them in for a couple of minutes, and your problem's gonna be solved. I think if there's couples out there that are suffering from fertility issues, listen, we can charge them 15,000-20,000, right? Sign them up for like 2 minutes on stoppage time. The guy goes out there, kicks the ball around, and next thing you know, boom, you're pregnant. Because I mean, like I said, our pitch has been blessed by the gods because it's I don't know, probably it was built on top of like a Indian burial ground or something.
Is that why Ronaldinho never came here? Doesn't he have like 12 kids with?
Yeah, he's like, no, I had
that?
enough. He's like, I had enough. I'm done.
Yeah, and Serge says wives can override any contract. Obviously, Serge is a married man, and he knows this well. And then Colin says, we're all joking, but Orlando being family friendly is attractive to players. Happy wife, happy life. 100%. And you know what? I think it comes back down to having those chess pieces, that roster, that if you lose a player or if a player is preoccupied or if something happens, we can't be in a situation where you have these players and if one of them is not performing, that everything falls apart. If it is, we have a problem.
I believe El Pulpo said this place being family friendly actually helped save his marriage.
I believe
that they were in turmoil and his wife and kids really like it here.
Yeah.
And I believe, that was part of it. That's what I heard. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just saying, because from a performance standpoint, if you have a player who's not performing or two, that shouldn't kill your whole season. You should be able to work around it and have that depth, have those pieces, be able to adapt, So we'll see. Hopefully that's not a conversation we need to have, though.
I guess so. As we wrap up, we want to thank everybody who has taken time out of their day to listen to, for Yahoos that love this team, that could have used all that money that we spent on this club wisely on a 401k or invested in stock. We will be, anyways, at the end of the day, we love the club. Thank you very much. We hope to see you next season. I would like to let everybody know the wrap up of the season with our friends from across the pond in the UK, Taylor, and then we'll come up soon. Once all this sadness goes away, we're gonna try to see if we can do some special episodes with former players. And last, I hope that you guys have a great holiday. Great Christmas. Hanukkah this year falls on the 25th. So I'm excited. My family and I are excited about that. Wishing everybody a healthy 2025. Don't miss us so much because, like I said, 8 weeks from now, we're going to be in preseason. All the hopes and dreams are going to come true. Like I said, vote for Pedro and all your wildest dreams will come true. So that's how it works. And I just wanna thank the club, the players. I wanna give a huge shout out, and you guys are gonna apologize for this guy over here, for this gal here. For all our supporters that went on the road to support our boys through the 17 away games. ILF, Rockets. I just wanna, everybody that puts a brick on the wall, that is cheering in the terraces. You gotta remember that football is nothing like we learned in the pandemic. Football without the fans is just 11 guys kicking a ball. So thank you very much, and for myself and the guys. I personally thank Misael for helping us out. As you guys can, if you guys can see or watch, I have my hands full. And John and Ahmed, these three guys here on the screen with me, I can't thank them enough for buying into the vision that we're trying to do here, which is a platform for the supporters to have their say. I want to thank the manager of the club social media, who loves us for some reason and defies expectations. Getting fired.
We'll see if he's still around in 8 weeks.
Absolutely. And obviously the guys are gonna say the last words. And I'll finish with this. To all the fans that come to us and say, hey, thank you for the show. I like it. I've been called the on the capo stand guy many times, and that brings a lot of joy to my heart. And we're gonna continue doing this as long as you want. And I finish with this. I'd rather have an audience of 5 people that appreciate our honesty than for us to be puppets of the club and cheerleaders and say everything is awesome and have 200 people listening to us. Anything else, Ivy? You want to say something? Okay, now she doesn't want to say something. So there you go. Thank you guys. We love you and we appreciate it. And the greatest thing in sports has always been said. Next year is gonna be our year, and I'm gonna be there. And I hope you guys decide to join us once again at 655 West Church.
All right. Well, I couldn't have said it any better, David. So thank you all of you for watching, following, and supporting the podcast. So we're gonna leave you the only way we know how. Reminding you that football is played on grass, not on paper. That football is cruel and unpredictable. That football is a pound of talent and an ounce of luck. And if you haven't cried for joy or anger over football, have you really footballed? For David, John, Misael, and myself, may God bless you. And as always, vamos, Orlando!